Good morning, podcast listeners. It's your boy Marcus Norman from Panama Ms Podcast, your host of the number one podcast coming to you live in America. Today, we are in for a treat, hailing all the way from Panama. We have the incredible, the amazing Miss Evie Brooks. Yes! With 24 years of experience in domestic and global real estate education and investing, Miss Evie Brooks is a former Rich Dad, Poor Dad elite educator, mentor, and coach who now specializes in all things Panama, including real estate and organic, sustainable agriculture investments. Ms. Brooks has educated and guided thousands of investors through the process of locating, evaluating, and analyzing transactions for cash flow and return on investment in 13 countries and 30 plus states in the United States. Ms. Brooks, during the global pandemic, continues to close deals every single week, primarily due to the soaring demand for organic smart farming investments, smart greenhouses and trees, that includes smart greenhouses and trees in Panama, where 85% of the food is imported. Ms. Brooks, we have today on Gentleman Style Podcast, we are not going to hold this woman back any longer. Please welcome, likes, hearts, share this content. You're not going to get this anywhere else except on this podcast and her website. Miss Brooks, welcome to the stage.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Gentleman Style Podcast. It is a pleasure to have you. What are we looking at behind you? What is that?
You are actually looking at the Panama Canal in Panama. I am in my condo where I live when I'm in Panama, and I am right on the Pacific Ocean in a beautiful area called Veracruz, Playa Bonita. And this is where I spend my days when I'm in Panama. When I'm not working, of course.
Of course. You work hard, absolutely, and you play hard. I love that view. It's breathtaking. So, Ms. Brooks, why did you get into real estate education and helping expatriates move to Panama?
Well, I started in real estate back when I was right out of college, and I went into corporate America and started in commercial real estate asset management and property management. And I stayed there for 4 years, realized I was on the wrong side of the desk, left, went out, started investing, and I've been doing that ever since. And then after years of investing, I started teaching with the Rich Dad organization, with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I did that from 2003 until 2014. And finally, I left in 2014 because we were so busy in Panama. I had started teaching internationally with the Rich Dad organization in Costa Rica. But when the market crash of 2008 happened, Costa Rica completely collapsed. Wow. It's a tourism-only country. And because it was a tourism-only country, it was one of the ones that was hurt and hit the hardest. Panama was not. Tourism ranks number 5, number 6 on the agenda of important economic factors in Panama. And so it just continued to click on through. And they had a little bit of a slowdown. But in 2009, the year after the crash, their GDP dropped all the way down to 4%. And then it went back up from there, all the way up to over 11% at one point, with an average of over 6% GDP on that 10-year basis. So that's why I got into Panama, because there's a whole lot more here than just tourism.
And people don't know that. This is why I had to get you on the show. People don't understand that or even realize that Panama is growing and expanding. So why did you personally want to diversify your portfolio into agriculture specifically?
Well, arable land is becoming less and less available and more expensive, and it's only going to continue to do that as the population continues to grow. And if you watch the United Nations statistics on growth of population, by the year 2050, we're going to have increased the population from 6 billion to over 9 billion. It's going to be crazy, and feeding the food required to feed all the people on this planet is just going to become more and more high demand. So it's an opportunity to tap into ownership of land, being able to produce great food, organic food, but not having to do the work yourself or having to have the equipment and the machinery or know-how of what's required. We've tied our kite strings to company, a very large, well, several different companies that have that history, that background, the education, the experience, and all the right people to do a fabulous job of that. We just get a lion's share of the profits from it.
Absolutely. Is it too late for investors to get into Panama? Is it too late? Have we missed the train?
Oh, no. This is what I call Singapore, back before Singapore had its growth spurt because of the canal, the port. We have the Panama Canal here. Of course, that's what you're looking at behind me. And that is an opportunity that I would think in the next 10 to 20 years is going to be incredible. Is it going to have real estate prices that we see in Singapore now? In our lifetime, I don't know. Probably not, because they are ridiculous in Singapore. However, we are going to continue to see that demand and that growth, not just because of the Panama Canal, but because of a lot of different economic factors here in the country.
Wow. Y'all, you are not going to get this anywhere else. Miss Evie Brooks is blessing us today with knowledge, her wisdom, the beautiful scenery, and her beauty as well, of course. But this is incredible. Please like, share, and subscribe. We are on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, of course. You are not going to get this content anywhere else. And Miss Evie Brooks is here to share and support and educate. Miss Brooks, is Panama business friendly?
Very, very business friendly. This country has created a program years ago to attract multinational, international companies to the country. There's two primary areas that they really focus on: Costa del Este and Panama Pacifico, which is right on the other side of me here, which used to be the old Howard Air Force Base. And it has been converted into an industrial zone where we have companies such as Granger, John Deere, Dell Computer, many companies like that that are here. And they've come here because of the benefits, the tax advantages, the perks, everything that's offered to them to bring their companies, whether it's the regional offices, the national, international offices here, and set up shop here. So it's a great opportunity to be able to tap into that here locally for businesses.
I love it. And one of the you talk Panama, investing in Panama is a multi investment. It's not just real estate, even though my marketing was for advertising. Tell us, Panama is not just real estate, specifically organic farms. Why is organic farms a great cash producing asset for someone to add to their portfolio?
Well, the organic farms came as by the way, once I got into Panama, because there's so many people that want to become expats. They want to relocate to a different part of the country. They want to downsize. They want to have a tropical lifestyle. They want to get out of the cold. They want to literally be able to walk away from their home country's tax obligations, especially as they get higher and higher, diversify their investments, many things. And so with that diversification of investments, I started really tuning in to the agricultural side because it's big here now. It wasn't when I first came here in 2012, but now it's become a real hot commodity. And so I sat back and watched for a few years as a couple of these companies came in here with this concept and structured it so that the little guy can get into these investments without having to have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to be able to start in the farming industry. And the know-how is already there. So it's a turnkey concept, but with the demand of food just in this country, 85% of the food has to be imported into Panama to feed the Panamanians. And when I first came here in 2012, there was not a lot of farming going on here. And so now, as a lot of this very rich soil and arable land is being absorbed by international farmers and investors that's wanting to provide arable land and farms, it has taken root like you can't imagine. And so this company, one of the primary companies that I work with here in Panama, has now over 5,000 hectares. That's 2.47 acres per hectare. That they have created what we call a reverse co-op. And a reverse co-op is typically a co-op is where a lot of small farmers come together and work with one larger company that will purchase all of their produce and then be the broker to sell that out to other parts of the world, like the HEBs and the Whole Foods and the those types of companies around the world. And there was just not enough farmers here to do that. So this company came in, the first one that I started working with here in Panama, and created the concept: we'll buy the land and then we'll resell it in small little increments, as small as 1 hectare. So you could get in with as little as 2.47 acres and have your little slice of heaven that's going to be farmed. They're going to make, a business out of this, and they're going to grow the produce. And then they handle everything from A to Z. You don't have to do anything. And with the demand for food growing and on the rise, and we know that's not going to change, how can you go wrong?
Absolutely. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. We got to pay some bills, y'all, but we are going to be right back here shortly. So see you soon.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
We are back, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to Gentleman Style Podcast, your host and number one podcast. We have the incredible, the amazing Miss Evie Brooks. If you are just tuning in, you gotta watch the replay. You don't want to miss this information. I promise you, it is going to serve you, Miss Brooks. So, investing in Panama, I've now joined in a partnered with you and your program to now invest in Panama. And that's it. Do you walk away, or is there some kind of formal mentoring and coaching and guide and mentorship through the process of investing in Panama?
Well, my program is very unique and different than anything else in Panama. Nobody has a program like I do. And mine comes from my history as a mentor before Rich Dad. I still have mentor clients that I had before I started teaching with the Rich Dad organization in 2003. They've stuck with me through the years. And then, of course, when I was with Rich Dad, of course, mentorship was a huge thing. And so we are not a one and done kind of a program. If you invest in any of our programs or projects, be it condominiums, a pre-construction, a single family home up in the mountains, it doesn't matter. The agricultural, once you're one of our clients, you remain one of our clients. You get constant updates and emails. We're constantly doing webinar trainings. And I do have an advanced mentor program. I'm very selective because I don't have a whole lot of time. So I only keep 10 to 12 mentor clients at any time. And those that have been with me for years and years, they stay with me. They're never going anywhere. And so I have a handful of those. So I do have, an advanced program that I will consider taking on a mentor client under, the right circumstances. But like I said, our program is a constant hands-on program. We stay in contact with all of our investors. As long as they're in any of our projects, we are constantly in communication with them.
Love it. So you're not going to be left in the dark, unlike traditional investments where you may hear from your financial advisor, you may hear from that person annually for a checkup. But this program, she also has a mentorship program, but this program, if you invest in any of her projects, she and her team are going to work with you and not leave you in the dark. We have one question from the audience. Go ahead. You about to say something? Nope. Okay. We have one question from the audience. Is Panama safe for Americans to live? How is the culture?
I love it here. I am a single woman, and I've been here since 2012, and I'm all over this country, all the way from the airport to Panama to Coronado, to you name it, all over the place. I've never had one time where I felt threatened, afraid, scared, and I am by myself probably 80% of the time. A lot of times, when we have our tours, we have VIP tours, we have my team with me. I'll have people with me, but for just the day-to-day stuff that I'm doing, even with tours, like I was on a tour with a VIP client that just happened to call me the day before yesterday. And so I was with him doing a property tour for 4 hours yesterday. I feel safer here than I do in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Wow. So I hope that answers your question, Miss Patience Dean. Great question. Ms. Brooks, how is it? What are the two primary hard to find agriculture cash flow options that you have found in Panama?
Well, we have 2 programs right now, and this is constantly changing, and we're adding a lot of new programs in 2021. So I'm excited about that. Even sustainable living off the grid. So that's coming, and we've had such a huge demand for it. We do not have it in Panama, but we do now with one of the most renowned architect designers in Panama. And so I'm really excited about that. I can't tell you much more about it than that, but tune in January. Like I said, as far as our clients, we do offer monthly webinars. We will do educational webinars, 2 to 3 hour webinars. Now, whether you plug in or not, it's up to you, but that's for every single one of our clients that have and are in any of our projects. So with the projects with the agricultural right now, my webinar in January will be about this, is we have greenhouses, which is a more controlled environment. When you invest in a greenhouse, you're investing in a portion of a greenhouse. Now, can you buy an entire greenhouse? Yes, but you're talking about 7 figures. It's about $1.5 million for one full greenhouse. It's 1 full hectare for a greenhouse. So it's not a tiny little greenhouse. It's huge. So it's acres. But a lot of people don't have the ability to do that, but they do have $50,000 or $40,000 and $70,000, and they can get into a portion of a greenhouse. Now, with the greenhouse, you have the greenhouse, the equipment to the greenhouse, but not the land under that portion, because you're talking about just a small portion. So it's a business, and you have a projected internal rate of return that runs in the 13 to 15% on an annual basis over a 30-year period of time. So it's a business. It's a great return on investment, hands off, no physical labor, no sweat equity, just, set it and forget it and get paid, on an annual basis once the payouts start. Now, with the greenhouse, the payouts start after 24 months because the first year is taken to build the greenhouse. And then the second year, of course, is you're going to have several rotational crops, and they don't pay out every time they get a crop in. So you'll have like 3 crops that will come out a year, 2.5 to 3.5. So you're paid on the first quarter of the following year that you've had harvest. Now, on the flip side of that, you have outside properties, which we call permanent crops, long-term crops. Those are avocados and limes and mangoes and dragon fruit and passion fruit and stuff like that. And those types of fruits are trees that you have to grow and harvest, and it takes 4 years until you start getting your harvest. Your IRR, your internal rate of return, is a little bit higher than a greenhouse. You wait a little bit longer for it, though. And with that, you actually own the dirt. And I'm a dirt girl. I love owning dirt. And so I like that investment. But it depends on the individual, what their timelines are, what they're looking for. And that's one of the things that I do whenever anybody comes to me, whether they're just looking to buy just a condo to retire in or have like a second home, a vacation home, or whether they're looking to invest, $1 million. It doesn't matter. I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to go through their plan of action. What are they wanting to do? Making sure that they never overpay. That we don't allow our investors to pay retail. I just don't. We go to our developers and we negotiate on the front end for our investors to be able to get a substantial discount off of the walk-in retail price. And the reason I can do that is because of the amount of business that we bring to our developers in Panama. We're very selective about the developers that we work with. They've had to be in business for a long time. All of our developers have been in business over 30 years, some 40 years. They have never had a project go belly up, and they're financially secure. So we really vet out the developers that we work with, but we're not a one-stop shop. We don't have just one project in one location and one concept. That's why we sit down and we do a plan of action to make sure that you're on track and that we are helping you accomplish whatever your goals are. Now, we're not financial advisors. We're not licensed CPAs. We don't give that kind of advice. We're helping you find real estate that fits into your portfolio.
I love that. My mind is blown. If I had the mind blown emoji right now, I would just do it. You said, and I can't let you just pass over this because we're all here. We want to know the money. Did you say 13% returns?
Yes, internal rate of returns, and what that is that that's taken. And when you do calculations on IRRs, it's not just taking an average of 13 years of income and dividing it by the 30 years.
Right.
It's time value of money. It's all kinds of calculations that go into that internal rate of return. So it's not just like a typical rate of return or ROI. But the internal rate of return for agricultural is what you're going to typically find, because we anticipate. Well, we calculate over 30 years. However, we know our trees will grow and produce between 50 and 70 years. And even then, you don't have to take the trees out of the ground and start all over. You take them off at the base, you graft them, and then they regrow and start producing again in 2 more years. So that's kind of, the concept, but we're not looking out 50, 60, 70 years, because most of us are not even going to be here then. And who knows? I mean, we don't know in this world that we live in what's going to happen tomorrow, much less.
Right.
But we do take history. We take historical numbers, statistics, averages, all those types of things, which, we have all of that to base our numbers on.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We have another question from Ms. Shanique Henry. What are other investments you've made in Panama other than agriculture?
Oh, there's a bunch. We started down here originally with just second family homes, Airbnb type of rental homes and things like that. And what you're going to find with me is I'm going to call a spade, and I'm not going to candy coat anything. Now is not the time for that in Panama or almost anywhere because of what's happening with COVID. So if you're planning to live here 3 or 6 months out of the year, then yes, the rest of the time we could put a long-term renter in there and you will be able to get your money to cover your expenses during that time, which is wonderful. But as far as an Airbnb right now in Panama, the market has not come back. The tourism has not come back. We don't know when it's going to. I think it's going to be sometime next year, later in the year. But right now, that wouldn't be what I would recommend. I would recommend something like a pre-construction project. Get in, get out at construction in anywhere from 2 years to 4 years, with a substantial return on investment. 10 to 13% is what we see on those with the projects that we put together. Also, we have a couple of projects that the developers or the government stand behind and offer guaranteed returns, which is very unusual. I've never had guaranteed returns. We have 2 projects right now where you can buy a ready move-in, beautiful condominium in a 40-story high-rise building. It's not even 2 years old. And the developer's offering $1,550 a month guaranteed rent for 2 years, which will cover all expenses. So if you're planning on moving down here in 3 years or 4 years from now, that's perfect because you don't have to worry about it, but yet you're getting COVID prices. And so you're getting way less than what you would if you had bought pre-COVID.
Right.
And then another one, we have like a government subsidized housing program where the government's backing it. Now, this is not like what people typically think of. This is a hand up, not a handout for Panamanians. And these houses run $60,000 and they can get in and purchase these, and their payments are less than $150 a month to own their own brand new house, 550, 600 square feet. And they're nice little concrete houses. And the government just started this about 8 years ago where they were offering this at interest that's almost virtually non-existent. Well, you can tell, less than $150 a month for a mortgage payment to own their own brand new home. And most of these people have never had the ability to own their own home. All they have to do is show that they've been in the same line of work for 2 years. And between them and their significant other, either or, they have an income of between $1,200 and $1,400 a month, and they will qualify for one of these homes. Right now, there's a demand for about 150,000 of these in the country. And these programs, very simple. You put down $50,000. You are buying that home, but you never take title to it because they build it. And before they close with you, they're going to close with the Panamanian, guaranteed. And within 24 months being the longest, you will get your money back plus somewhere between 10 and 18% return on your investment, depending on how long your money's tied up.
I love that. Miss Shanique had a follow-up question for us. Miss Shanique, you could tell my audience was excited. These people are excited for you, Miss Brooks. This is incredible. Are your webinars that you're hosting in, I believe the ones in January 2021, can they be watched later? Are they recorded and can they be watched later?
There's one way that your market can plug into our webinars, and that is to go to our website, which you're going to give, and log in, EvieBrooksPanama.com, log in, and put their information in our opt-in box. And then once they've done that, we will notify them of the upcoming webinars and trainings that we're doing.
Love it. There you go, Miss Shanique. Tune in, get on that website. That's www.eviebrookspanama.com. And tune in and connect and tune into all the unique experiences. I as she was talking, I already subscribed. So you guys are behind the curve because I'm gonna jump in. Ms. Brooks, this is incredible. This is amazing. I can't believe no one else has heard of this. How can people contact you? How can people learn more about what you're offering and what you're doing and how you are changing literally the landscape, no pun intended, for investors?
Well, EvieBrooksPanama.com is about an 11-minute video, and it kind of talks about exactly what you're asking me right now. And I kind of go through some of the basics, but when you sign up, we will send you an email to actually link into my calendar to schedule a 30-minute consultation. And that's free. We do that for free. And that's where I start to fill out, where are you at? What are you wanting to accomplish? Is this something that was right for you? And if I don't think it's right for you, I'm going to say, I don't think this is a right investment or the right time for you based on your circumstances or where you're at. I'm absolutely not going to let somebody take their last $10,000 to try to find it and put it into some kind of investment in Panama when they need it to pay mortgage or food. I'm just not going to do that. So that's what we do in that first 30-minute session is we sit down and we look at where they're at, what their goals are, what they'd like to accomplish. Have they got a portfolio? What kind of strategies do they use? We talk a lot about entry and exit strategies into real estate, making sure people buy right and are not making mistakes. So many people go out and pick up a book or two and they'll read it about real estate and they think that they're ready to go, and then they'll go buy one property and they'll lose their rear ends. And then they think real estate doesn't work. Well, that's just not true. You really need somebody to help guide you that can help make sure you're going down the right path and that you're not making a huge mistake on your first or second deal that's going to prevent you from ever doing it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You all, Ms. Brooks is delivering just an incredible amount of information, and she has a heart of gold. Look at that. She's not going to leave you stranded. She's not going to take your last investment capital, and she's not going to just run away with it and off to Panama. This woman is changing the landscape, and she's investing in your future, investing in our future and the growth of Panama. And she's in an industry that is practically untouched. Miss Brooks, am I spilling too much tea here? But there's something else that you offer with that. You offer a tour. Am I spilling too much tea here? Can you tell us about that tour?
Our tour is it's a boots on the ground tour, and it's very similar to many of these real estate training class tours that you go on where you'll pay $5,000 or $10,000 for them. Ours is $1,495 for 2 people, which includes 4 nights of accommodations in this project or another one on the ocean right on Avenida Balboa, which is downtown Panama. It includes airport transportation, it includes food. And we're not talking about McDonald's. We're talking about really nice wine and dine, 3 meals a day, 2 days, and then breakfast on the 3rd day, and the education. We are boots on the ground. We run hard. It is a true educational real estate investing seminar, except we're not sitting in a room. We are literally previously in buses. Now we'll have to divide up into cars because of COVID until we get past not having a group of people on a bus. But you know what? There's a will, there's a way, there's many ways to skin this cat. And so we still have lots of tours coming up and lots of people coming to Panama in February, January, even the end of December. And so since we are back opening Panama and things are moving again, we have tours planned left and right. So that is something we never take more than 7 couples or 14 people maximum. We're probably going to bring that down to 6 couples right now, just because of space and, using vehicles, SUVs and things like that instead of a bus. But this tour is probably, I'm going to say, the best education for the money that you're going to ever get. The cost of just those things that I told you, if you were paying on your own, would be more than the $1,495 for 2 people. So you're not even really paying for the education. But we know that if we get people here and we get them educated, that they're going to love what they see. We have a very, very high percentage of our tour guests that do either move here, get homes here, invest here, and it becomes a long-term relationship.
I love that. Look at that. Yeah, $14.95 VIP tour, boots on the ground in Panama. Is there nothing better? This investment gets better and better. Oh my gosh. Miss Evie, is there any last words that you want to leave my audience? Any last tidbits of information, that any golden nuggets you want to leave my audience before I let you go?
You know what? I can do 3 days of training on golden nuggets about real estate. There are so many golden nuggets about real estate. One is make sure that when you get into any real estate investment that you have multiple streams of income, that you're not buying any property based on one potential opportunity, such as I'm buying in Phoenix, Arizona or Scottsdale, Arizona in 2006 because the market's gone up by 28% in the last 12 months and it's going to do it next month. And so I'm going to pay 120% above what the average price was because I know there's going to be massive appreciation. Or I'm getting an adjustable rate mortgage because the interest rates are so low and, then they turn around and they go up and people can't afford their rates. I mean, 2008 was a fiasco and people were buying on capital appreciation. Don't do that. Capital appreciation is nothing more than a roll of the dice. We don't know. Nobody knew we were going to get hit with COVID in November of last year. And so you've got to buy based on hardcore potential exit strategies. So when I say that, you want to look for 3 primary streams of income. Do you have existing equity walking into the deal? Number 1. Number 2, can you cash flow this property if you hold it for the long term? And number 3 is, can you create forced appreciation? Well, forced appreciation for us in Panama is not taking a single family home and finishing the basement like it is in Atlanta, Georgia. It is buying pre-construction. This piece of dirt today is not worth anything compared to what it's going to be when that's a 60-story condo building in 3 years from now. So we can buy in now at $2,650 a meter square versus the $3,400 a meter square it's going to be selling for at completion. Now, again, there are no guarantees in real estate like there are no guarantees in the stock market, but based on history, based on market conditions, based on those types of things. And if things were to change, do you have multiple exit strategies so that you can step back and punt if you need to? So like if you bought a single family home and you wanted to use it for Airbnb and the market crashes and you don't have Airbnb, do you have plan B and plan C and plan D that you can roll into? So many people did not in 2008. And therefore, because the only exit strategy they had was capital appreciation, they lost their investments, they lost their homes, they lost their marriages. I mean, it was just crazy what happened. So we want to make sure that we've got our bases covered and we have a safety net in place and you've got multiple streams of income. I know that's more than one, but I could, like I said, I could go with golden nuggets all day long.
Absolutely. And I love it. And I have to put this disclaimer out there for you because we have to protect you. As a disclaimer, Ms. Brooks and her employees and affiliates are not investment or tax advisors and do not offer investment advice. But caveat, she knows what she's doing. So I have to put that disclaimer out there to protect my guest. She's my guest. And so I wanted to put that out there. But Ms. Brooks, that is a tremendous golden nugget, and you have served and you are amazing and you are incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all, we need to uplift. Please check out that webpage. Please tune in. Please engage with Miss Evie Brooks and her team and get on that track for investing in Panama. We have to uplift this woman. She's incredible. She's amazing. Thank you, Miss Brooks. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Absolutely. Like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in to Gentleman Style Podcast. Like I always say, take care of your friends, take care of your families, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman, Gentleman Style Podcast host, and Miss Evie Brooks from Evie Brooks, Panama.com, signing off. Love you guys. Bye.